Good afternoon, everyone. My name's Emma Foster, and my project is called A Level Playing Field. I've always had a passion for sport, both spectating and participating, ever since I could walk. And so it almost became inevitable that sport was going to be a part of my final year project for the year in one way or another. And through other life experiences such as travel and education, I also became affiliated with religious architecture as well as sporting architecture. And through those understandings, I began to get this investigation and have an observation of the parallels between religion and sport and what qualities could be drawn between the two of them. Through my investigations, I found these points, but in particular, the requirement of the belief and participation, as well as both religion and sport requiring or thriving even on passion and being tempered with discipline. This research also led me into an investigation into a convenient find of muscular Christianity, which is a Christian faith that is based on you respecting the body that you have from the gift that you've been given by God, and in order to respect God and your body, you need to keep it at the fittest and most healthiest state, and therefore that can influence the evolution of mankind through Darwinism, survival of the fittest, etc., etc. So I thought that was all very interesting. All those investigations led to the final product of Newcastle City's urban mixed use stadium and focused professional athlete physical rehabilitation centre. Just through a love of the anatomy that came from the muscular Christianity findings and also just sport in general. This quote I've always been hugely fond of. You all know Nelson Mandela quite well. Sport has the power to change the world. It has the power to inspire. It has the power to unite people in a way that little else does. As I said, this quote's always meant something quite significant to me, and in particular, this particular scene that I want to show you. So this is the Rugby World Cup 1995, a clip out of Invictus done by Clint Eastwood. This moment in history was not just sporting historically, but politically. You see South Africa win the game. This moment, seeing black and white people celebrate together was unheard of at the time, and was a very powerful moment. As I said, politically this moved apartheid forward drastically. Mandela had a huge part in this, and I've recently been to South Africa myself, and being able to see these images, and not having been there at the time, but seeing these images now and knowing the history of it, for me, it gives tingles to me on this kind of thing that's happened. And then we'll see this next part as well.
Sister, will you lead us to the prayer?
Thanks, Lord. For giving us understanding. Thanks for now. See us into this. And most of all, thanks for the win. Amen. Amen.
That gives me chills. So that's the atmosphere that I believe a stadium enables. It can be on a smaller scale, 2,000 seater scale, or a scale like this in Johannesburg where it's an 80,000 seater stadium. And as I said, it just had a very powerful moment in history. Next. This image here, looking to highlight and express the existing parklands and commercial exercise facilities that are in Newcastle City. The orange is the commercial exercise places that are currently existing. As you can see, for a city that is considered wildly sport obsessed, it's actually not that many. And I also was looking at the Newcastle City car park as well, the mall car park for a while, and this was back earlier in concept and schematic submissions. I was looking between the two and how maybe this could become a site that I would choose to continue my final year project with. In the end, that hasn't shown up. In the end, I came to the Cathedral Park in between Church Street and King Street. This was a site that, considering my religion and my sporting, wanting to join these two, I think that it was a perfect site of choice. It's quite unfortunate that hasn't shown up, my apologies. There's also a cross bearing that you'll see in any cathedral plan, and I had used this site, this cross bearing, to divide the site into 4 quarters. It was also dividing, and I did a lot of reading into strategy versus tactics that has been used multiple times as a way of urban planning. And then I used this and divided this site up, tactics and strategy, citizen and divine, to create a point of place on site. The street address for King Street as well is currently at Cathedral Park. There isn't one. It's a massive stone wall. The Cathedral Park is a beautiful park. There are some fantastic views that are there, and unfortunately it's quite inaccessible. So I wanted to address that, pun intended, to see where that could go. The access to any facility that you create, let alone a stadium, is necessary, is required for masses of people to come. So I wanted to make sure that this place was accessible from all sides of the city, especially the potential light rail or the railway line at the moment. So very unfortunate this is not showing up. So this particular image was supposed to be showing that if anyone's been to a game before or a match before, you know the way you seat, usually if you're on the two longer sides of the stadium, you have a better vantage point than if you're at two the ends. So I wanted to focus on having two tribunes, so a north and a south side, and there would be no seating on the east or western side to respect the spectators and give them the best vantage points for the game. Following up on this, the Mesoamerican ball game. This has dated back to 140 BC. I was very interested in this for two particular reasons. One, as you can see with the graphic, so the top graphic there is the court that they played on. It's an eye-shaped court with two prism-like structures, and the spectators would stand atop these structures while looking at the players on the court. Kind of read this, and this may have formed the way grandstands started to be used in the modern day. And also, on top of that, the solidness and the weight of these structures, as you know, the materiality, the monumentality of them was a huge influence in the way my structure developed from a material point of view. That leads on to concrete. For me, concrete was an obvious choice, but it was also a good choice in this, again, looking at that stoic structure and the nature of concrete. Calatrava was the immediate choice for me to go to. The way he's used concrete in the in situ forms, being able to create these Gothic-like structures in a very brutalist form that I have a great appreciation for. The flying buttress. Anyone here knows, anyone that's been to a cathedral, seen a cathedral, cannot basically go to a church or a cathedral without a flying buttress inside. It's institutional for both, for the cathedrals, and I believe this particular precedence and here, which is in Hungary, is the Panča Stadium, designed by Imre Makovec's architecture. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. But this is 2013, and I just think it's a beautiful way, it's a good acknowledgement of both the concrete use and just a gesture to sport in itself. The excavation on a hilly site such as Cathedral Park, naturally to put a big flat field, I'm going to need to excavate something. So this was a precedent that I wanted to look at, which was the Braga Stadium in Portugal by Eduardo Souto de Moura. This excavation, as you can see, was extremely massive. You're effectively sitting amongst a cliff face, and the stadium is just a beautiful gesture again to sport and how you can sit a stadium, a massive scale stadium, within the cityscape. Moving on to the site plan, so we've got Church Street down the bottom and King Street up top there. This immediately you can be drawn to the axis that's created down the halfway line. Got the entrance level, the entranceway from Church Street, and then a lookout at the top of King Street, and access from the corner of King and Wall Street up this side. Getting closer in, the relationship to the cathedral, again where that strategy versus tactics delineation has happened, and again just focusing on that access that can come up the side up there from Wall Street. Ground floor plane. So not only is this, the biggest question in any stadium is going to be, what is it when it's not 7 o'clock at night on a Saturday and a game's being played? This has the ability to open up to outside on the King Street ground floor, and really just, it could be enabled for a market day or something like that. And these stalls, this is a potential layout for the stalls, and then these can be moved outside when maybe it's a bigger festival or when it's a really big concert or something. Let's put all the stalls up on the field and use the outdoor space. There's plenty of different size spaces to use this for. Just got a cafe up in the corner there, lots of toilet facilities for everyone to be using, storage space and access up to the higher levels. Moving upstairs, the rehabilitation centre. A lineal approach considering the length that I had to play with here. So as I said, it's a focused athlete rehabilitation centre, so 4 athletes only at a time can ever be in this centre. We're moving from the reception area and the boardroom, where you might be meeting with managers, agents, senior medical practitioners to see how we're going to progress with this rehabilitation. A rehab pool, gym, yoga and stretching room. This area here with the ping pong table and the other tables is directly on the halfway line, and from the halfway line to the left you've got a great big view of the Newcastle Harbour, and it's quite a nice area to sit there. Maybe you're meeting with other patients, maybe you're meeting your friends and family that have come to visit. Commercial kitchen and physio and stretching rooms. Moving along again, we've got offices for the nutritionists and any other medical practitioners you might be meeting with. This blue area here is a media centre. Now, not everyone here is a professional athlete, but for me, I find nothing greater, not to say that I'm a professional athlete either, there's nothing greater than getting up at 2 o'clock in the morning and watching England play Australia, and you're just getting so excited, and I think that's a great way for the athletes and the patients, if you will, to get together and watch the games that they're trying to get back involved in and give that drive back to them. Another area down this corridor on the southern side is a Hall of Fame. Again, maybe another way to gesture to the patients that, you know, these people have, you know, been knocked down, and maybe Alex McKinnon's up there for a local example and things like that. And so when they're moving towards their rooms and coming out of their rooms, it's just a reminder that, hey, you can do this. And then each room is the same, wheelchair accessible to all parts. We've got a kitchenette, a bedroom, storage, and a two-way accessible bathroom to enable staff to come and help and all those sides of things. And then each space also has a veranda that enables them to look out and see the spectators arriving to this game that may be happening on Saturday, or trainings that are happening during the week.
Let's talk.
Okay. I'll quickly go through the next. So this is just the existing section, and this is how my section sits within the space. You can read the buttresses between the flying buttress that I've proposed as part of my profile and the buttresses of the existing cathedral. You can see how you're scaling down into the field space from the southern side of Church Street, and how you may access it from the King Street. This is the form, the roots of the earth, I think, you know, coming up, the very stoic nature of it, very solid, the weight of it, again, moving towards that Mesoamerican feel. This quickly I'll run through. The roof structure here is quite important, the sheet metal roofing, and I was playing with the idea of using battens as the ceiling, but it was going to become quite an acoustic quality, which I didn't want. I want to be amplifying this sound from the spectators, from the, you know, the concerts that are going on, to create this atmosphere, as you guys saw in that movie clip before. It's crucial for this game, for any game or any concert or anything, to have this atmosphere. So in the end, it ended up being, I've now chosen the flat timber composite panelling for the bottom and just the sheet metaling panelling for the top. Quickly here, this is just a way to show that the journey of how an athlete may be, you know, reading the way they're looking at the activities going on, and looking at prison architecture, and how when prisoners are isolated, they're isolated away from the community that they're supposed to be eventually going back into, and it just doesn't work. So as an athlete, if you are amongst the activity that's going on, why would you not want, you have the drive to get better and better and make yourself get back to where you want to be. The arrival, the cut through the sandstone, the cut through, and, you know, this moment as an athlete, and when you're arriving to this space where everyone's screaming your name, and how you just want to get out there and play. I think it's quite a magical space that could work very, very well. Finally, just a couple of shots of my model. Again, the ability to walk on top of this roof and be able to see the game coming out from the cathedral as well, that interrelation between both spaces. And then just got another shot there just to show how it really sits within the space. And then finally this shot here, which just, again, going on that formwork of how the buttresses of that have really played a lot with the form that I've come up with. And yeah, I'm really happy with the way it's worked.
Great. Thank you very much.